Hello and welcome to another Drive-In Double Feature. I'm Ryan,
I'm Nathan.
and this is the podcast where we talk about two movies a week every Tuesday and Thursday. And today we're going to be talking about 2003's Godzilla Tokyo S.O.S, which is directed by Masaki Tezuka. He is returning from the last movie that we did with Godzilla against Mechagodzilla.
hmm
And this one of the Millennium movie is actually the only one that's a direct sequel to another one from the Millennium era.
Isn't that crazy that we finally get we finally get a connecting movie? I've been missing that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the other ones have just been very just like, oh, this is just connected to the original. This one's just connected to the original, and they're just ignores everything. But this one actually has some references to the older movies in it. We
Yeah.
do get like some returning characters, which is actually really surprising, and we get like a lot of returning other monsters and other references to other movies too.
hmm
So kind of how what was going on, like I said, they after the last movie, they did want Tezuka to come back, and they presented him with four scripts. He didn't like either one of them, so he just said, I'm going to write my own treatment for it. And Tezuka actually did work on some of the Mothra movies from the Heisei era, and he wanted to kind of pay tribute to Mothra as a whole. So, what better way to do that than to talk about the original Mothra movie from 1961, which we did cover that a long time ago, where, if you remember, Mothra was destroying Tokyo because there was an evil man that did steal the fairies away, and Mothra was
hmm
kind of going on a rampage, like trying to get them back.
Yeah, which if I remember right, well, I know I remember how I felt. I really liked the Mothra movie. I thought it was like a really good like kids movie. Felt like a classic Disney movie. And that's actually why I was surprised that this is a I know Godzilla, Mechagodzilla are in this movie, but this feels like a Mothra movie. It has references to the Mothra movies or when Mothra's popped up. It has like returning, like you said, returning characters. It feels like a more loving ode to Mothra than anything else.
Yeah, it there's definitely references to older forms of Mothra in it, and we do get a lot of returning characters like the Shobijin, the little fairies. And
hmm
yeah, I think I we now that I'm thinking about it, we both did really like that one a lot. We actually said it was like a Disney's version of a kaiju movie. That's I think what we kind of said.
That's what it felt like.
But yeah, there we do get some of the returning characters in this one as well. And how this movie starts, we don't get any returning characters from the last movie because almost all the characters are completely non-existent. Like we do get the commander from the first movie. He is back
hmm
in his role. And then Akane, who seems like it would be like a pretty pivotal character from the last movie
Yeah.
because, she had like a deep connection with Mechagodzilla.
Mm.
They're just like they have a scene where they say like, "Oh, well, our pilots are actually going to go transfer to America and learn how to be better pilots, so that way they'll know what to do in situations." And so Akane is just basically just like, "All right, well, I guess I'm going off to America," and she runs into one of our main characters, which is Yoshihito, who is a mechanic for Mechagodzilla, and Akane just basically tells him like, "Hey, make sure you take really good care of Mechagodzilla." And then she's just out of the movie completely. Like we don't ever see or hear from her again.
Yeah, I was really sad about that because I actually kind of liked her character from the last movie. So it was like, okay, yeah, I guess she's gone. And then we get like replacement characters. I think the ones that are actually tied to Mothra are a bit more memorable, but the actual like what do they call it? The xenomorph the people that control Kiryu, they call it like xenomorph
The G
control.
graspers.
The G
No, no,
grasper.
no,
Well, no,
no,
that's
no,
old.
no,
That's
no.
old. Yeah. No, they have a term for it, but I think a lot of them are weak. But I mean, it's a Godzilla movie. I think I come to expect that sometimes.
Yeah, I watching the Big Action Bill videos too, if there's any sources I want to say too.
Uh-huh.
But I do want to say I do think the human characters in this are particularly weak. I mean, we don't really like the last one, like, there was like a little bit of like a budding
Oh,
romance between like the
mhm,
professor and Akane. So I mean, it kind of seemed like they were kind of going in that direction. So I mean, I understand like for the most part, as long as I get like some great monster action, which there is some in this movie,
mhm,
it would be nice if we can actually get like at least somewhat of a memorable human plot line, which I don't really feel like we get in this one.
mhm,
So kind of how the movie starts is we do get like an introduction to all three of the monsters at the beginning of this movie where Godzilla is underwater and it's
mhm,
like you see him like waking up. You see Kiryu Mechagodzilla waking up, and then Mothra also gets its own her own introduction where I actually like this scene where she's flying in the sky and she's kind of obstructed by all these clouds. So
mhm,
you kind of get like glimpses of her, and like the American forces are basically telling Japan like, oh, you got like an unidentified flying object like right in your
mhm.
area, like so Mothra is coming back to Japan.
Yes, yeah. So it's like this the way what the humans deal with is like they're trying to deal with the fact that they are going to have three monsters, or I guess two monsters, because they think they can control Mechagodzilla. But that becomes like a huge plot point here. I really liked Mothra's entrance, and I really liked I just want to point out I love the music in this movie. The music in this movie is like some of the best I've heard that was not an Ikafube like score. Like I was actually amazed. There's a theme towards the end of the movie that plays when they're fixing Mechagodzilla. It was amazing. I seriously thought the music was incredible. I was really taken aback by that.
So are you saying in 2003 it was robbed of an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score?
Sure, why not? I
Huh.
seriously, I looked up the composer and everything, and it makes sense. Michiru Ashima, she
Hmm.
actually did a lot of the arrangements for Legend of Zelda games. Like she wasn't like the main composer, but she did arrangements for like Twilight Princess, but also games like Eco, a few
Oh
other
wow.
Jap yeah, exactly. Like there, she I was like, oh, it makes sense that the music is so good. Like it all like connected back. I realized it.
And I read too, like they actually used like the Japanese Philharmonic too to like help like
Oh.
compose like a lot of the song. Like they played all the instruments together. So a lot of talent, the music they put into this year, it sounds like.
For whatever reason, they were like, this is the one. Because I mean, the music there was like fine music in the other ones. Especially, I mean, Ikafube's scores, usually whenever he was on, it was usually incredible. But there's been a few times in the past bunch of movies where the music was like unfitting that we like talked about a little bit. So it's nice to have something good. But
Yeah.
that's totally beside the point. I really like Mothra's look in this movie. I'm so glad that they continue to not make. There's CG, but that's not the main thing. They don't mainly use CG.
And I will say, like they do use CG in this movie. It's not it's not looking like amazing or anything, but it is looking better from what we've seen in the beginning times of when CGI first started getting used. It's starting to look a little better. Like the human eye is starting to like it's not as recognizable as it being CGI.
I agree. It looks a lot better. It does. They've done a
Either
better
that
job.
or they're much better at hiding it.
Yeah, that's probably it. They're better at hiding it. I think they just used it maybe a little less. Because I mean, these are monsters that we've seen just do suits before. Like I get it for like the little bug monsters or whatever that fly around, that CG, but like the suits, it works.
So they actually there is a clip that it was in Big Action Bill's video where Tezuka, the director, they went to him and they asked him like, what do you say to like the fans that really are looking for more suit actors and they're not really satisfied with the CG in these movies? And he actually clarified that uh, some of the older filmmakers of Godzilla movies, like Honda or uh, Tanaka, or were all or Subaraya, all these people. He said if CG was around back then, they would have used that, because
He's not
they were
wrong.
they were they were looking for the most cost-effective manner and the something that they could use that would save them time and money.
Yeah, I don't think he's wrong. I do think they would have used CG back then, but I think I do think there's nothing wrong with wanting the artistry of something real either, right? Like you can use that as an excuse that it's a tool they would have used then, but I don't think there's anything wrong with being impressed by hand stuff done by hand.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you say, but I can kind of understand it from their perspective because we've talked about it before that sometimes during these movies, like the budget just starts getting smaller and smaller, and
Hmm.
then their time to make them is so minuscule. Like it's just like
Hmm.
they don't have a whole lot of time to finish these movies. So I could easily see why that's like, okay, well, we don't really have time to make a full suit and
Hmm.
get some miniatures and like try to figure out how to shoot these complicated shots. So
Hmm.
it's easier just to do the CG. So I can kind of understand it from both ends, but for my money, I would much prefer practical effects as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, but like I said before, to returning characters. So like I said, Yoshihito, who is the going to turn out to be the pilot for this movie, he also has his grandfather, which is played by Hiroshi Koizumi. He was Dr. Shinichi Chujo, who was in Mothra. He was the one of the returning characters from Mothra. He was the language expert that was there, but he's like one of like the good guys in that movie.
Yeah, I actually read like I didn't pinpoint what movie it was in, but when I saw his face, I recognized it. It was like, oh yeah, I've seen him a few times before. But he is playing that character again, and he's much older. And that's where the Mothra connection comes in because the two Mothra fairies, the two twins, they show up and they actually communicate to him and his two grandchildren.
But you're right, Nathan. I believe that those were his children. Well, because it was Choju, that was Yoshihito was his grandson, and then
Hmm.
I think like the other little kid was like also like his grandson because the little kid called Yoshihito like his uncle, and he's like, "Don't call me uncle."
That's right. Yeah. Which is, well, I gotta ask, did you watch this subbed or did you watch it dubbed?
So,
I watched it dubbed. I did. I don't know what
where'd you find
differences
the
there.
dub? Where'd you find the dub version? Is it on
Uh,
YouTube as well?
no, it's on the Internet Archive, actually.
Oh, okay, all right. Because the sub version is actually on YouTube.
Oh God, yeah. I had the choice, and I honestly, some days I'm like, a dub sounds kind of nice. I could just like, I know, take my movie watcher card away, whatever. But it's sometimes it's easier to watch.
That's fine, Nathan. I watched a real movie. You watched a fake movie.
That's
That's
okay.
how I
That's
look at
fine.
look at it.
That's okay. I like to think that we probably watched just the same thing, just maybe a little bit of difference.
So was there anything notable? Was there any funny voices, Nathan, that
No,
you didn't?
no, not like with the martial arts movies. I feel like the Godzilla, they're usually okay. The little boy was definitely voiced by an adult. That's about it.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, we get these characters in it, and that's where the Shobijin show up, which is the little fairies from Mothra.
Yeah.
They just show up right out of nowhere, and he's like immediately like he's like, "Oh, I recognize you!"
And then
Like,
it shows a clip from the original Mothra.
yeah,
Hmm.
and we do see the little fairies say them. They do tell them like, "Hey, like you guys are using Kiryu Mechagodzilla to fight Godzilla." Well, Mothra doesn't like that because this Mechagodzilla uses bones from the original Godzilla, and it's making Mothra very upset. And if you keep using Mechagodzilla, Mothra's going to destroy Tokyo.
Yeah,
And
I thought that was so funny that she was just so disturbed that they dug up Godzilla's bones that she's like, I'm gonna kill you all if you don't stop.
yeah, and they're like, okay, they're like, well, if we don't use Mechagodzilla, then who's going to protect us from Godzilla? And they're like, oh, well, Mothra will step in.
Why didn't
And
she
I'm
do
just
that
thinking, like,
before?
yeah, I'm like, where was she the last movie then?
Uh-huh. Now she's upset, and now she's like, "Oh, I can protect you guys."
But here's the thing, though, Nathan. So, like, because I thought this too, like when Barracks and Bill brought up as this, I thought this was going to try to turn into some like three-way like monster battle and be like, like Mothra doesn't like Mechagodzilla, Mechagodzilla doesn't like
Mm.
Godzilla, and like kind of like going back and forth type of thing. This plot point of Mothra being upset about Mechagodzilla doesn't really have any payoff at all to it.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I was kind of just dismissive about it. I was like, "Oh, maybe I just missed something. Maybe like So no, yeah, okay, then yeah.
No.
I thought that was weird because at some point it's Mechagodzilla and Mothra team up, right? They work together, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Why would Mothra do this?"
they just team up out of nowhere, and that's about it.
Yeah, that seriously, and it becomes a movie about Mothra and Mechagodzilla, or Mothra and the humans figuring out some way to take down Godzilla, and Mechagodzilla is just seems like a nightmare because they can never have it up and running in the right amount of time.
Well, and they do take care of some plot holes, Nathan. They do say in the very beginning of the movie, like, oh no, like his absolute zero ray is now dysfunction, like it's no longer functional.
That
So like the
yeah.
ray that he, like his freeze ray that he was using in the last movie is no longer functional. So they get rid of that whole plot point. So he really doesn't, Mechagodzilla really doesn't have like any like real
Hmm.
like earth-shattering power in this one. But Godzilla has been like dormant for almost a year, I think they say.
Hmm.
And then eventually like a submarine does get attacked by Godzilla. And that's kind of where the movie kind of kicks in. And uh throughout the rest of the movie, it's more so just like Yoshihito like trying to get Mechagodzilla up and working again, and he does run into like the Mechagodzilla pilots, which there's like a party scene where like the guy catches, he looks like he's like punching Yoshihito, but he's really like catching a fly with his bare hand.
Yes, that's right. God, this is totally off point. It reminds me of watching there's this in Elvis, there's like the workout scene with Priscilla, and it looks like she's barely punching the punching bags. Do you remember that
Oh,
scene?
oh yeah.
Yeah, we didn't bring that up. It's so goofy. But yes, yeah, there's a training scene between them. The main character of the humans is mainly it's like a mechanic who gets belittled because he's not a pilot. So his
That's
arc,
Yoshihito, yeah.
that's Yoshihito, and he it's just about him proving himself.
Yeah, it's really hard to talk about like these human characters, like because he's the only one that gets kind of any type of real scenery, and we do get like the scenes of like uh the old man and his grandson because they're trying to summon Mothra and like when Godzilla starts attacking
Hmm.
Tokyo, like the little boy is like at his school and like trying to gather all the deaths because that's like the one thing that'll summon Mothra is if you do Mothra's symbol, which kind of looks like a cross with like an X through it, sort of.
Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, and he does it with like a bunch of school desks out in the
Yep.
courtyard. Yeah. Which I thought that was fun. But I was like, that's the moment where I was kind of like, huh, why would you call it Mothra? It doesn't seem like a good idea.
No, and because I guess Mechagodzilla wasn't operational at that time.
Yeah, true.
But they do because there was and there's also like these weird government scenes too where uh the old man, Dr. Choju, they go to him and they're like, did Mothra come to you? There's like, yeah, like Mothra came to me and she said if we use Mechagodzilla, it's gonna be bad news for us. And it's just like,
Hmm.
he said like the one guy's like, that's preposterous. I'm like, is it really that
I
preposterous? Like
know.
there's like a giant Godzilla and like that, like a giant moth is really just unheard of.
Yeah, I thought the exact same thing. I was like, I don't know. I was like, that's not preposterous in your guys' world. Not at all. Like that is completely normal.
Well, I mean, especially too, because they do have evidence of Mothra being there because the Mothra movie was canon, like that actually
Mhm.
happened, and Dr. Choju like actually shows pictures of the destruction. It's like, oh
That's
yeah,
right.
Mothra did all this stuff.
And they're like,
So I mean,
oh,
it's not like,
no.
yeah,
No, that would never happen. Yeah, it's
that
little
never
goofy.
happened.
Yeah, and then like it's to the point where they call in his son, and his son like denies that the fairy meeting ever happened. They don't show it, but like, he talks to his dad, and then the dad's like, "Oh, well, you're not going to tell me about it? Well, that's all I need to know." Which I think is like I get actually I don't get it. I don't get why he wouldn't worry. Like why he wouldn't be like, "Yeah, the fairies are real." Like it just be honest in the situation. I know he has this like inferiority, he doesn't want to affect the government or like, ruin his name, but like it's as easy as just being like, yep, fairies are real and Mothra wants to kill us.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, overall, just to say, like, I mean, there's really not a whole lot there for the human plot points. I mean, like I said, the old man and his grandson are like running around, and they end up getting caught like in a building, and Yoshihito like comes and saves them, but they're totally fine.
Yes.
And then all the pilots for the Mechagodzilla, they end up not winning, and so Yoshihito has to pilot uh Mechagodzilla.
Mhm.
And then we pretty much just get like a really long fight scene towards the end of this movie. That's pretty much what we're here for. Godzilla and Mothra kind of start out right away first. And one thing we don't see before is like Godzilla actually bites off one of Mothra's legs and like spits it out.
Mothra kind of gets like brutalized in this movie. There's like the one scene where Mothra gets thrown like right into a building, just like and like she crashes into a building. It's actually really done. I mean, we say this every time for one of these movies. Fight scenes are well done. They continue to be really good.
Yeah, the choreography in this one is very good as well. I mean, say whatever you want about the plot points of these movies. I probably wouldn't put up too much of a fight if you were kind of bored by them. But in terms of the fight scenes, it really is hard to get much better than these sort of things that we've been seeing. And for giant monster fighting, I mean, this is just exceptional work.
Yeah, yeah, and it's got really great callbacks because the Mothra larva, the two baby Mothras, they return in this movie, and they kind of take over for Mothra for a little bit when Mothra is really hurt. And I just thought it was cool just to see them back, and like they do exactly what they did last time, but I guess maybe that doesn't exist in this movie's timeline where they shoot all of their webbing to kind of blind and stop Godzilla.
There's definitely a lot of callbacks to the 1964 Godzilla versus Mothra
Yeah.
because even like when Godzilla and Mothra first fight, now minus the biting scene, there
Well,
is a
yeah.
scene where there is a scene where Mothra does pick up Godzilla and drops him. She uses her powder to like try to knock him out. Uh,
What
but
a classic. That's a classic move. And if you're a flying type monster, you got to pick up Godzilla and drop him at least once.
yeah, and it won't this time though. He's not falling onto like a giant like power station like the last movie.
Yeah, yeah. No, but it is pretty. I don't know. I always think that's cool. I always love that shot.
Yeah, it's a really fun one, and but Godzilla, like you said, he does pretty much manhandle Mothra, and
Mhm.
then Mecha Godzilla kind of steps in, and like I said, this would have been like a good opportunity for Mothra to been like, I'm not like, or basically been like, Mothra realizes she can't beat Godzilla on her own, so she has to team up with Mecha Godzilla, even though she doesn't want to, or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But again, that whole plot is kind of just thrown by the wayside. So Mechagodzilla does end up fighting Godzilla, and they do end up throwing each other into the buildings and stuff.
Hmm.
And uh, Mechagodzilla uses like a drill hand, which looks like something straight out of Power Rangers,
Yeah, seriously.
and stabs Godzilla like right in the stomach with
Hmm.
his drill claw. And this time, though, Godzilla does not bleed.
No.
Like the last movie, I do believe he did bleed.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that in this one, like other than maybe the leg biting, but like this one was toned down violence wise.
Yeah. Um, yeah, they end up having a big fight. And then towards the end, like Mechagodzilla is like cornered. He's about to be destroyed by Godzilla. And then Mothra kind of jumps in and takes the hit from
Mm.
Godzilla's atomic breath. Then Mothra's just dead
Yeah,
again. After
isn't that
after
crazy?
after Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, all monsters attack.
Hmm.
That's his Mothra does get killed by Godzilla again.
Yeah, yeah, which is a little sad. It just made I don't know. I think it'd be cooler if Mothra won instead of died. But I guess it's
Mo-
I
Mothra's won plenty of time, Nathan. This is
I
this is
guess
his
you're
time.
right. I guess it is his. Well, just you wait because, like I said, Mothra's babies come in to team up, like to
Yeah.
take over for Mothra.
Yeah, and like you said, this is another reference to the 1964 movie because they do the almost the exact same fighting that they did before, including like one bites Godzilla's tail and
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla's like trying to flick it off. They do that exact same thing in the 1964 one, and eventually they do try to put Godzilla in its webbing, and then the sun rises, and then all of a sudden Kiryu ends up becoming the original Godzilla again because
Mm-hmm.
Godzilla is like on the ground, he's prone, he's covered in all those webs, and the commander's like, all right, like just finish off Godzilla, and this is the last time we'll ever use Mecha Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And and Yoshihito's like trying to hit the button to to do it, but at this point, since it's like sunrise, I guess, like the Kiryu before him is no more, and it's the original Godzilla from 1954 has once again possessed Mechagodzilla, and
Mm-hmm.
he has no longer any control over Mechagodzilla. So at that point, Mechagodzilla does pick up Godzilla and kind of flies out towards the ocean, and they both get covered by these webs.
Mm-hmm.
And right before he drops into the ocean, like Yoshihito just ejects out of there, and another girl ejects uh out of the jet and catches them in midair. Like they
Yeah.
both like collide into each other, which is
Yeah.
very silly. That was I was like, okay,
Oh
that was
yeah, that was goofy. That you ever seen that clip? This is so it reminded me of this. I thought of this. There's a clip of somebody playing Battlefield, and they eject from their jet, pull out a rocket launcher, blow up another jet, and then they land back into the seat of their jet, which is like insane to do in a video game. And like, yeah, that's kind of what that was.
yeah. That's about like sort of like the same deal.
Hmm.
Um, but then this movie, I mean, I even they kind of say at the end of this movie that's because Kiryu does take Godzilla down into the ocean. Godzilla's very badly hurt.
Hmm.
And then Kiryu, I guess, because he's in water now, he's no longer functional either. And they're like, this is kind of a hollow victory because they've lost Mechagodzilla. Now Mechagodzilla is completely out um, of this movie, and Godzilla is just going to go dormant once again.
Yeah. It's kind of I mean, I guess it's a better ending than the last one where it felt like it ended like, oh, everything's fine, but I mean that's why not that everything's fine, but it's like, oh, everybody got away, it's fine, kind of deal. Where at least this one there's definitely a finite this is how it ends kind of deal.
Yeah, I would have liked a little more finality to it, or maybe
Yeah.
something more definitive. But I guess in these types of movies, they never want to have like a definitive ending because something could happen, or they do another sequel. They don't want to kill off that gravy train. But in terms of success, this movie was once again paired with one of the Hamtaro movies in cinemas.
Did you say that last time? I don't remember you saying that.
Oh no, that was like a thing. Like the last like three Godzilla movies have been paired with like a Hamtaro
I
movie, like
didn't
on a double billing.
I didn't know this, or maybe I forgot or
I thought
something.
it. I thought I did, but yeah, been a thing. Like it's every time like a new Hamtaro movie comes out, it's like billed with a Godzilla movie.
That's you know what? I would be there. Hamtaro and then a Godzilla movie. That's so weird, but kind of cool. How many
Yeah,
Hamtaro movies are there?
anime movies have a lot of movies too.
I
I wouldn't.
I know because we've been the Roku TV has like a Pokemon channel, and like I've been interested in like the anime. There's like 20 something Pokemon movies, and they're like almost on season 30 of Pokemon. It's insane.
uh, oh yeah. Um, so there's only four Hamtaro
Oh,
movies.
so pretty much like every Hamtaro movie just got a Godzilla pairing.
Yeah, so like uh Camp Adventures in Ham Ham Land was paired with Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, giant monsters all out attack.
Pretty cool.
And then The Captive Princess was paired up with Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. And then this last one, Miracle in Aurora Valley, was paired with Godzilla Tokyo SOS. And
Man,
then the fourth one's going to be paired with our next Godzilla movie.
that's pretty cool, actually. If only we weren't doing John Carpenter, I think it would be fun to just be like, we've talked about it before, doing like a real double feature, like one that actually played.
That would be funny.
Yeah. But then we'd have to watch the Hamtaro movie, which, I mean, like, eh, I know hate the Hamtaro. I don't know how those would be nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know how well those would go with. I mean, like, I need to watch all the lore of Hamtaro before
Yeah.
I can really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I kind of don't like Hamtaro nowadays after, what happened, where Hamtaro was
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't bring, please don't bring that up, Nathan. It's too many bad memories.
Sorry. We'll only keep the good memories of Hamtaro and go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back on track, this again, once again, was released on DVD in the US. It was not released in theaters.
Mhm.
So once again, no theatrical in the US. This movie underperformed once again. It did not sell over 1 million tickets like the last movie, so just shy of 1 million tickets. And I believe its gross was about 12 million.
Okay. Which is crazy because we kind of learned that like Mothra and like bringing back older ones kind of seem to bring back an audience, but I guess this one wasn't that.
Yeah, like I don't know, maybe it is starting to be like fatigue a little bit. I don't
Mhm.
know. I mean, it that could
They
be
are
a
back
thing
to
going
back.
on. Um, because we are coming up on our next one, which actually will be our final one of the Millennium series. Because after that, they do a very long break
Yeah.
after that one. So
Mhm.
that could be why. Um, but yeah, I overall like I don't think I liked it as much as the last Godzilla movie that we did, Godzilla versus against
Mhm.
Mechagodzilla. You know, there was a little more I liked in that one. Um, but I mean, the choreography and stuff, this one was still good. I liked it a lot. I'd still, I'd still would give it a recommend. Yes.
Yeah, I'd give it a light recommend. I think I agree. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as the last one. And I think that's mainly because the last one had better characters to follow. Usually I like at least a decent supporting human arc, and I don't think the one here is all that interesting. Monster fights
No.
are really good. I think that continues to be fun. And like I said, the music is really good in this movie. But I don't know. It was fine enough if you're a Godzilla fan. It's not a skip, but nothing too crazy.
But I think that's going to do it for Godzilla this month, Nathan. So why don't you tell us what we're going to be covering next week?
All right, well, Ryan, we are going to be talking about Curse of the Demon, which is streaming over on Tubi.
Horrific.
Oh, but Ryan, what are we going to be covering on Thursday?
Well, Nathan, we're actually going to be doing a movie that I've been wanting to watch for a long time. So, Nathan, we're going to be watching the Abominable Dr. Phibes,
Ooh,
which
nice.
is on YouTube for free.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to watch that one.
Terrific. Well, if you have any thoughts and opinions, please email us over at drive and double feature podcast at gmail.com and check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/drive and double feature podcast. But until next time.
Until next time.